In this video, I'm going to be having a look at three scopes which are similarly priced and similar in terms of performance. I'm going to have a look at the Pulsar C50, the Infiray TD50L, and also the HIC Micro Alpex. All three of these scopes are true night-day optics with a colour day screen and a black and white night vision screen. Each of them has a 30mm tube. They each have picture-in-picture mode, a roughly the same zoom, although we'll talk about that a little bit later, and all have very similar features. Each of these scopes has their own good points and bad points, so there's pros and cons to each one of them. Now, I'm not going to pick one as being my favourite because that isn't really fair, and to be honest, I'm not really sure I could pick one out as being the best one of the three. So I'm going to point out the features, point out the good points and point out the bad points, and let you decide for yourselves which one is best suited to you. So first up, let's have a look at the Pulsar C50. Now, this is a really nicely made scope. It's also the most expensive scope of the three, but it does look very nicely finished, and you've also got the Pulsar name on the side there. So if you've ever used any of the other Pulsar scopes, or even in fact for that matter Pulsar spotters, you're probably going to be very familiar with the menu setup, and it's much the same through all their different products. So you've got a inbuilt battery, you've also got the ability to add another battery in there as well. These are Pulsar's own little batteries, the APS2, reading the side of that just drops in the top there like so, and then you push the turret back on. You've got a nice smooth focus on the front there. You've also got a selector on the front there, just in front of that, which takes it between night mode and day mode, although that is a little bit on the stiff side. You've also got built-in lens cap. Not really much more I can tell you about the scope itself. It is just bog standard, easy to use, nice little unit. I would say that probably this scope offers the best clarity day scope, or day mode, the colour mode. It's probably the nicest of the three, very rich colours. The other couple are slightly more washed out than this one. It's got a very similar magnification range to the others. It starts off at 3.5 and steps to 7 and then to 14. You've also got picture-in-picture mode on there, inbuilt recording with sound, and the ability to take photographs. So that pretty much sums up that one. Next up, we have the HIC Micro Alpex. This one is, I think, the middle-priced scope. Again, all the controls on the eyepiece there, slightly different setup on this, these little rubberized buttons. So while I'm talking about that, I'll point out something which I would like to see on these, and that would be like a raised piece between the power button and the record button. If you try and record with this, it's very easy to accidentally press the power button, and then it starts the dreaded countdown, which can't be stopped. So the unit starts its countdown, shuts off, and then you've got to wait for it for a minute to sort its life out before you can press it to fire it back up again. Other than that, that's all very nice. Again, 30mm tubes. I've got the Sports Match one-piece mount on this one. It's got a smooth zoom on it, which is really nice. You can just take that into little increments to zoom in. Again, inbuilt battery on the side there. Menu and that, same as the Pulsar, is accessed via that same wheel. The focus on these is really stiff, which is a bit of a downside. However, you can get over it, as I've done here, by using a fishing coaster just on the front there, which just allows you to move that a lot more easily with your finger, so you can fine-tune the focus. Lovely day image on this one. Maybe not quite as rich colours as the Pulsar, but still really nice. Again, built-in lens cap on the end there. So one thing I did find using this scope a fair bit was that when this is mounted on the rifle and you've got the rifle slung over your shoulder, me being a lefty, I tend to carry my rifle on the right hand side, and I found that I was constantly like knocking that menu button in and adjusting all the settings and messing everything up basically, which obviously isn't a problem if you've got it in standby mode, but if you forget to put it in standby, as I did on a few occasions, then the next time I went to look through it, I found I was halfway through the menu in a different language and God knows what else. So that is just something to be aware of. Get into the habit of putting it in standby mode, and that does deal with that little problem. But that would be quite nice if HIC actually did something about that on maybe one of their updates if possible. So that's that little scope. Again, nicely made scope. You've got very good service, customer service and that with HIC Micro. They've got a base here in England with technicians and that here, so if you have any problems with it, you don't have to send it away. So then last up we have the Infiray TD50L. Again, much the same as the other two. Controls on the eyepiece, 30mm tube. This one has the smooth zoom. Now, one thing I particularly like about this is I think this is a brilliant scope for longer range focusing as opposed to the other two. Reason being that you can zoom on this from 4, I believe it is, to 16, but you've also got picture-in-picture mode rather than just showing the higher mag in the top screen there. What it actually does is it doubles it, so as opposed to having a 16 times magnified image in the top box like the other two, or 14 in that case, in this one you get 32 times, so it doubles the main image. You've got a nice focus on the front, very smooth, very easy to work, although it is quite fussy for getting a sharp picture. You do have to, it's very small adjustments on that. The scope in itself, nicely made. Again, battery in the side there. I think the image on this one, in the day mode at least, is slightly more washed out than the other two. Slightly more sort of whited out, but it's still a good clear image. So that's a quick overview of the three scopes. The other thing I probably should point out as well is how easy they are to use. I would probably say, particularly if you're familiar with the Pulsar setup, then the Pulsar is probably going to be the easiest one to use. The HIC one probably next easiest, and this one probably last. But to be honest, there's not really an awful lot in it. They're all pretty simple to use. They've all got the freeze function for the zeroing, which is a nice feature. I like using that. As I say, all three have got picture-in-picture mode. All three record video and photos. The only thing with the Infiray is it doesn't record sound, which for me is a little bit of a downside to it. But then it's at a good price and it does the job, and you have got that higher magnification for longer shots. So all three units are waterproof. They're all of a similar weight. I think the Pulsar was slightly heavier, whereas the other two were very similar. They've got Wi-Fi on the HIC and the Infiray. The Pulsar, the Wi-Fi is an optional extra, so you pay a bit more for that along with IR. So I think the retail on the Pulsar is around about 950 quid, but you're going to have to pay extra for an infrared illuminator and to have the Wi-Fi feature. Now, to be quite honest, I always just use a aftermarket illuminator anyway on these scopes to get the best out of them, so I recommend you do the same, so it probably isn't really too much of an issue. Right, so now we've had a quick look at the three units, let's have a look at some day footage. Now I'm going to be using my associate here, Charlie, who is my stunt double for the evening. So he's got little reflective eyes, so we're going to be using him throughout the course of this video, but we're going to plonk him out for this little bit of footage here. He's out at just over 100 metres, about 107 or 108 metres away, and we're just having a look now through the three units. So the first one on the left here is the Pulsar C50, in the middle we've got the Alpex, and then on the right we've got the TD50L. So all three units are currently on base mag. As you can see, they're all fairly comparable. The Pulsar has a 3.5 times base mag, and the other two are on 4 times base mag. So now we're going to jump it up to around 7 times magnification on all three units. And now up to 14. bear in mind here as well that the Infiray has got the ability to go up to 16 times plus the double that to 32 times in the picture-in-picture window. That's a little look at the 3 scopes in day mode. So the light's just starting to fade now, sun's just gone down, so within the next probably 15-20 minutes it's going to be getting quite dark, so we can have a little look at the 3 scopes in dusk mode, so just that last point where we should still be able to see through them without an IR, and then we'll go on through the evening and see what they're like at night and also at different ranges. So the light's just starting to fade. It's just the kind of time that you'd see a fox around, so that's why you'll notice I've got the 223 sat next to me on the tripod here, just in case we do get a real fox come along. I've got a thermal scope mounted on that at the minute, so obviously that's not in the lineup. Right, so the Pulsar still looks clear, still nice and bright colour image there, and that looks good. It's on base mag. So 7 times, nice, easy to shoot that. I think I would probably struggle shooting stuff on base mag with this, but then I do like a higher mag scope to shoot by. But certainly 7 times, that would be no bother. 14 times, just starting to get a little bit pixelated and a little bit kind of shaky image because the light's just starting to fade there, but still plenty good enough, easy to ID that that's a fox. So yeah, I'd be quite happy using that. Well, I'd just be quite happy using it. Hey! Hey! Sorry about that, I just had to stop and whack a fox there. Yeah, so I was just having a quick look around and the fox was walking along down the bottom there, as they like to do. That was, where was he? He's there, so he was around about 120 metres. But anyway, ignore that. Back to the review. I would like to have actually got these scopes on it, but he was just walking, he would have been out of the field in a couple of seconds. Right, let's have a look then at the Infiray. So there's our fox target. Let's get that recording. Alright, so that is just a little bit to tighten that focus up a bit better, that's it. So as I say, that image is slightly washed out in comparison to the Pulsar, but still good, still see it, still shoot it. So that's base mag, that's 4 times. So we'll go up through the smooth zoom to 7.2, that's the closest we're gonna get to 7. And as you can see, the actually I don't think you can see it on the video, if I remember right. I don't think you can actually see the picture-in-picture mode, but currently I'm looking at that on 7.2, but in the picture-in-picture box at the top there I've got 14.4 mag, so I'm doubling the main screen. So let's just increase that now to 14 times so we can do a fair comparison. So that's 14.2, and that is getting a little bit grainy. I might be able to just tighten that up. So that actually that's tightened up a little bit better. And in fact, I would say that that's probably a slightly clearer image than the C50. It might be slightly washed out, but that's a sharp image, and that's on 14.2. While we're at it, we'll just click that up to that's 16 times, and I would have no bother at all walloping that fox with this scope. Great. Okay, so let's just turn that one off. And next up we have the Hick Micro Alpex. Turn this one on. Okay, so we're now recording. Yeah, still nice colour actually. Again, that's actually possibly better at dusk than the C50 maybe for colour. Let's just zoom in on this one, remember how to do it. So that's on the side here. So we'll go the right way. So we'll go up to that's 7 times mag. So certainly shootable, certainly ID what that is. Slightly grainy, let's just see if we can tweak the focus a little bit on that. As I say, the focus is a little bit stiff on these. Oh, that's a bit better. So that looks good. And then we'll take that up to max magnification. So we're now up to 4 times, which is 14 times magnification. I'll just move that down a little bit so you can see the picture in picture a little bit as well. So like the C50, a little bit shimmery, but still pretty good. Right, so that is the 3 scopes compared at low light or dusk as it is now. As I say, I can't see anything down on the bottom edge of that field with the naked eye now. So if a fox walks across there, unless I was using the thermal or lamp, obviously I wouldn't spot that. Right. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out and meet my mate Gary, because we're going to go out and have a look for a fox up on the hills. So I'll take our little associate here, Charlie, with us, and we'll pop him out on the hill there and see if we can have a look, see what he looks like at night at a bit of distance. Right, well, we've got a nice clear evening this evening. So first up I have got the Pulsar Digex C50. I've got a fox target down there where it's the same fox target it was using for the first part of the test, and he is out at 120 meters. So we got the C50 currently looking at that. So let's just increase the magnification. We're on 7 times there, so that's 14 times. As you can see, it's the picture in picture mode that's changing. Right, okay, so that's 3.5 mag, 7 times mag, and 14 times mag. So nice and easy to shoot that, nice and clear identification on that at 120 meters with 14 times mag. I would probably be using that with the picture in picture mode, like so. So there, 3.5 times in the main screen, 7 times picture in picture, and then 14 times picture in picture. That's 7. Okay, so I think that's enough with that one. Right, next up we have got the Infiray TD50. I'm stepping up from the base mag. So that's now on 14 times, so a similar kind of thing to the Pulsar, and we can go up to 16 times on that. It's probably as good as that's going to get. One thing with the TD50 is it is a very sensitive focus on this one. Right, so what I'll do is I'll film a little bit on my phone and see if I can get a little bit of footage showing you what you actually see through the scope. So there you have it with the picture-in-picture mode. Really not very clear, and my phone's making the screen go all pixelated and fuzzy. But you get the general idea. You're getting double the magnification in the pip window. Right, so last up is the Alpex. There you go, that's on base mag. So zoom it in. And just sharpen it up a little bit. It's probably about as sharp as that's going to go on that magnification. Still shootable on base mag just about. Zooming in again. Right, well that's all three scopes at 120 metres, which is a kind of typical foxing distance. I normally shoot stuff within 100 metres. Occasionally I might push out to 200-300 metres, but at night that's really plenty far enough. I think all three of these scopes are still going to be able to get you out, certainly to sort of 200-250 metres. So anyway, as you can see, there's not an awful lot between them, so it really is down to you to choose the one that's right for you.